Listening to Heaven and Hell in English. Hi. We can know heaven and hell by living this world. I will read Heaven and Hell through YouTube. I have many affection and hope to enter heaven. Thank you. Heaven and Hell. The four quarters in heaven. 2. 147. This makes clear the nature of the Lord's presence in the heavens, that he is everywhere and with everyone in the good and truth which go forth from him, and thus he is with the angels in what is his own, as has been said above. The perception of the Lord's presence is in their interiors. From these their eyes see, because sight is a continuation of perception. Thus they see the Lord outside themselves. Hence it can be established how it is to be understood that the Lord is in them and they in the Lord, according to his words. Abide in me and I in you. John 15:4. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood abideth in me and I in him. John 6:56. The Lord's flesh signifies divine good, and his blood divine truth. In the word the Lord's flesh signifies his divine human, and the divine good of his love. And the Lord's blood signifies divine truth and the holy of faith. 148. In the heavens all dwell in separate groups in accordance with the quarters. Those who are in the good of love dwell towards the east and the west, those who are in clear perception of it towards the east, and those in obscure perception of it towards the west. Those who are in wisdom from the good of love dwell towards the north and south, those who are in the clear light of wisdom towards the south, and those in obscure light of it towards the north. The angels of the Lord's spiritual kingdom and those of his celestial kingdom dwell in the same order, yet differently in so far as their good of law and light of truth from good differ. For, in the celestial kingdom the love is love to the Lord, and the light of truth therefrom is wisdom, while in the spiritual kingdom, the love is love towards the neighbor, which is called charity, and the light of truth therefrom is intelligence, which is also called faith. They differ also as to the quarters, for the quarters in the two kingdoms are apart from each other by 30 degrees, as has been said just above. 149. In like order the angels in each particular society of heaven dwell in relation to one another. Towards the east there dwell those who are in a greater degree of love and charity, towards the west those in a less degree. Towards the south dwell those who are in greater light of wisdom and intelligence, towards the north those who are in less. They dwell separately like this because each society resembles heaven, and is a heaven in lesser form. The same arrangement prevails in their assemblies. They are brought into this order by reason of the form of heaven, from which every one knows his own place. The Lord also provides that there may be in each society those of every kind, to the intent that in form heaven may be everywhere like itself. Yet the arrangement of the whole heaven differs from the arrangement of a society, as what is general differs from what is particular. For the societies towards the east surpass those towards the west, and those towards the south surpass those towards the north. 150. Because of this, the quarters in the heavens signify such things as pertain to those who dwell in them, the east signifying love and its good and clear perception, the west the same in obscure perception, the south wisdom and intelligence in clear light, and the north the same in obscure light. and because of this signification of the quarters in heaven they have a like signification in the internal or spiritual sense of the word, for the internal or spiritual sense of the word is in entire accord with what is in heaven. The east in the word signifies love in clear perception, the west love in obscure perception, the south a state of light, or of wisdom and intelligence, and the north its state in obscurity. 151. The reverse is true of those in the hells. Those who are there do not look to the Lord as a sun nor as a moon, but they look backward away from the Lord to that dense blackness that is in the place of the sun of the world, and to the darkness that is in the place of the earth's moon. Those called genii looking to the dense blackness which is in place of the sun of the world, and those called spirits to the darkness which is in place of the earth's moon. Number sign. It may be seen above that the world's sun and the earth's moon are not seen in the spiritual world, but in place of the sun the dense blackness over against the sun of heaven, and in place of the moon the darkness over against the moon of heaven. For this reason the quarters with those in the hells opposite to the quarters of heaven. To them, the east is where that dense blackness and darkness are, the west is where the sun of heaven is, the south is to their right, and the north to their left, and this also in every turning of their bodies. Nor can they face otherwise, because the whole bent and consequent determination of their interiors tends and strives that way. It may be seen in N 143 that the bent and consequent actual determination of the interiors of all in the other life are in accordance with their love. The love of those in the hells is the love of self and the world, and these loves are what are signified by the world's sun and the earth's moon, and these loves opposite to love to the Lord and love towards the neighbor. This is the cause of their turning backwards away from the Lord to those dense blacknesses. Moreover, those in the hells dwell likewise in accordance with their quarters, those who are in evils from love of self dwelling from their east to their west, and those in the falsities of evil from their south to their north. But more will be said of this further on where the hells are treated of who, and of what quality they are who are called genii and spirits. Those who are in the loves of self and of the world turn themselves backwards from the Lord. Love to the Lord and charity towards the neighbor make heaven, while love of self and love of the world make hell, because they are opposite. 152. When any evil spirit comes among good spirits the quarters are usually so confused that the good scarcely know where their east is. This I have sometimes seen take place, and have also heard about it from spirits who complained of it. 153. Evil spirits sometimes appear turned towards the quarters of heaven, and they then have intelligence and perception of truth, but no affection of good. Wherefore, as soon as they turn back to their own quarters they have not intelligence or perception of truth, even declaring then, that the truths which they heard and perceived are not truths but falsities. They also wish falsities to be truths. In respect of this turning, I have been told that with the evil, the intellectual part of the mind can be so turned, but not the voluntary part, and that this is provided by the Lord to the end that each one may have the ability to see and acknowledge truths, but that no one receives truths unless he is in good, since it is good and never evil that receives truths. Also that man has the same ability to the end that he may be made better by means of truths. Nevertheless, he is made better only so far as he is in good. Consequently, a man can in like manner be turned to the Lord. But if he is in evil as to his life, he immediately turns back and confirms in himself the falsities of his evil, which are contrary to the truths he has understood and seen. This takes place when he thinks in himself from his interior. Next, I will post an article that says Changes of State of the Angels in Heaven. Thank you.